There are moments in life when we find ourselves standing at a crossroads, wondering where to go next, or feeling the weight of the world pressing down on our shoulders. It's in those moments that we must remember that there is a path, the narrow path that leads to peace, joy, and purpose. A path that is walked alone with God every day. Walking alone with God is not about physical isolation, but about drawing near to Him, trusting Him, and allowing Him to lead your life with certainty and grace. You see, the world may tell you that you need the approval of others to be happy, to feel fulfilled, or to know you're on the right track. It might convince you that success is measured by the applause of people, the accumulation of wealth, or the satisfaction of your own desires. But none of these things can offer you what only God can give: the deep and lasting peace that comes from walking with Him every day. To walk alone with God is not a journey of solitude, but one of companionship with the Creator of the universe. It's a journey that requires trust, surrender, and a willingness to follow where He leads, even when the path seems uncertain. It is a walk that can only be taken when we truly believe that God is who He says He is. The loving Father, the faithful shepherd, the guide who never leaves us nor forsakes us. The first step in walking with God every day is simply to make a choice. It's not a choice that needs to be made just once, but a daily decision to wake up and say, Lord, today I will walk with You. I will trust You with my thoughts, my words, and my actions. I will follow You wherever You lead me. This choice isn't always easy, but it's necessary, for the path with God is not always the easiest nor the most popular, but it is the only one that leads to true fulfillment and peace. There will be moments of doubt. There will be days when the world seems overwhelming, when the burdens are heavy, and when the way forward is unclear. But in those moments, remember that you do not walk alone. God is with you always, every step of the way. His Word promises that He will guide you with His counsel, and afterward He will receive you to glory. You may not see the entire road ahead, but you can be sure that the God who created the heavens and the earth knows every twist and turn. In walking with God, it's essential to build a relationship with Him through prayer, through reading His Word, and through listening for His voice. The more you pray, the more you'll grow to know His heart, and the more you'll begin to see the world through His eyes. His Word, the Bible, is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. It is the guidebook for living a life that honors Him, one that is filled with hope and purpose. You may find that the world will try to distract you from this walk, pulling you in every direction. There will be pressures and temptations, things that seem appealing but ultimately leave you empty. But remember, when you walk with God, there is no greater joy, no greater peace. As you walk, you'll find that you are drawn closer to Him, and your desires begin to align with His. You begin to see the world differently. The things that once seemed important lose their luster, and your heart is set on eternal things. In this walk with God, you will experience the transforming power of His presence. He does not leave us the same way He finds us. As we walk with Him, He changes us from the inside out. Our hearts are softened, our spirits are renewed, and our minds are transformed. We begin to reflect His character, to live more like Him, and to love others with the same love He has shown us. Yet, walking alone with God does not mean you're walking in isolation. In fact, as you walk with God, you will find that He places people in your life who will walk alongside you, who will encourage you, pray for you, and help you stay faithful on the journey. But even in those moments when it feels like you are standing alone, know that God is with you. He is your refuge and strength, an ever-present help in times of trouble. And so day by day you walk with God, Not because the road is always easy, but because you know that He is good, that He is faithful, and that He is with you every step of the way. When you walk with God, you walk in the light of His truth, in the comfort of His love, and in the power of His strength. You find that the joy of the Lord becomes your strength, and that His peace guards your heart and mind. Today, I encourage you to make that decision. Choose to walk with God every day. Choose to trust Him, to follow Him, and to allow Him to guide your steps. The journey may not always be easy, but I promise you this: there is no greater way to live. You may be walking alone in the eyes of the world, but in reality you are never alone. God is with you, and that makes all the difference. So as you step out today, remember, you do not walk alone. With God by your side, there is no place you cannot go, no burden you cannot bear, and no challenge you cannot overcome. Walk with Him, and He will lead you to a life of peace, purpose, and joy that is beyond anything the world can offer. Choosing to walk with God daily is the most important decision you can make in your life. It begins with the simple yet profound act of surrender. Surrendering your will, your desires, and your plans to His greater purpose. This choice is not a one-time decision, but a daily commitment to trust Him and allow Him to guide your steps. Every day brings new challenges, new opportunities, and new obstacles. To walk with God is to invite Him into every aspect of your life, trusting that He knows what is best for you, even when the road ahead is unclear. When you choose to walk with God, you are making a conscious decision to live by His word and His truth. In a world that is filled with confusion and shifting values, the decision to walk with God means that you are choosing to align your life with His eternal, unchanging principles. It's a daily reminder that God is the foundation of your life and that His ways are higher than your ways. This decision is not always easy. There are moments when distractions, temptations, or the pressures of life will pull you in other directions. Yet, despite these challenges, choosing to walk with God every day is about choosing Him over everything else. In making this choice, you are not walking alone. God, through His Holy Spirit, walks with you, guiding you, strengthening you, and encouraging you. The road may not always be easy, but knowing that God is with you provides peace in the midst of uncertainty. His presence is the assurance that you're not navigating this life on your own, but that He is right beside you, walking with you every step of the way. This choice, when made daily, becomes the foundation of a life lived in fellowship with God, in constant communion with Him. The decision to walk with God is also an act of faith. It requires believing in His promises, trusting that He will provide, protect, and guide you. Each day that you choose to walk with Him is a step of faith, affirming that He is trustworthy and faithful to fulfill His word. This act of choosing God daily transforms not only your life, but also your perspective as you begin to see the world through His eyes. Every day spent walking with God deepens your trust in His character and strengthens your relationship with Him. Building a relationship with God through prayer, Bible study, and listening for His voice is essential to walking with Him daily. Prayer is the foundation of any relationship, and with God it is no different. Prayer is more than just asking for what we need or want. It's about connecting with God, sharing our hearts, and inviting Him into our lives. In prayer we speak to God, but equally important, we listen for His response. It's in those quiet moments when we pause and allow God to speak that we hear His guidance and reassurance. Just as any relationship deepens with communication, your relationship with God grows as you spend more time in conversation with Him. Prayer becomes the place where you not only seek God's will, but also experience His peace, His presence, and His love. Bible study is another vital aspect of building a relationship with God. The Bible is God's living word, a guide for how we should live, think, and love. It is filled with wisdom, truth, and promises that speak directly to our hearts. As you engage with Scripture, you begin to understand God's character, His heart for you, and His plan for your life. Reading the Bible isn't just about gaining knowledge, but about allowing that Word to transform you. Each passage, each verse offers an opportunity for reflection and growth. The more you immerse yourself in the Word, the more you begin to recognize God's voice in your life and in the world around you. Listening for God's voice is an often overlooked but critical part of building a relationship with Him. While prayer and Bible study are important, God also speaks to us in subtle ways, through circumstances, through other people, and through that quiet, still voice in our hearts. Sometimes God's guidance isn't as loud or dramatic as we might hope, but it is always present. Learning to listen requires stillness and attentiveness, a willingness to quiet the noise of the world and open your heart to what God has to say. As you listen for His voice, you begin to recognize the ways He directs your steps, provides wisdom in moments of confusion, and comforts you in times of need. Walking with God brings peace, purpose, and transformation even in the face of life's challenges. Life is full of uncertainties, hardships, and moments of confusion. The world can often seem chaotic and unpredictable, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the weight of responsibilities, struggles, and emotional turmoil. However, when you choose to walk with God, you tap into a peace that transcends circumstance. This peace isn't the absence of trouble, but the presence of God in the midst of it. It's the peace that comes from knowing that no matter what you face, God is with you, guiding you, and working all things together for your good. In times of trouble, walking with God provides a deep, unshakable sense of calm, knowing that He holds your future in His hands. The peace that comes from walking with God also brings clarity and purpose. In a world that constantly pressures you to define success in worldly terms, walking with God helps you realign your focus on eternal values. As you journey with Him, you begin to understand your true purpose: to love God, to serve others, and to live in accordance with His will. Your purpose isn't defined by the accolades of the world or the pursuit of fleeting pleasures, but by your relationship with the Creator. With God by your side, you are no longer lost in the shuffle of life. You are anchored to a higher calling, one that gives meaning and direction to everything you do. Moreover, walking with God leads to transformation. This journey is not one where you remain unchanged. As you grow closer to God, He begins to shape you from the inside out. The more you seek Him, the more your heart is transformed by His love and grace. You begin to reflect His character more in your thoughts, words, and actions. The fruits of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control start to become more evident in your life. The transformation may not always be immediate or easy, but over time, you will find that walking with God produces a new Christ-like character in you, one that impacts not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. When you choose to walk with God, you are never truly walking alone. This is one of the most powerful truths about the Christian journey. Life often feels like a series of uncertain paths, filled with difficult decisions, unforeseen challenges, and moments of deep loneliness. But the assurance that God is with you changes everything. He is not just a distant observer or a figure in the past. He is actively present in your life, walking beside you, leading you, and comforting you in ways that only He can. This presence is not bound by time or circumstance. Whether you are experiencing joy or sorrow, triumph or defeat, God is with you every step of the way, offering His wisdom, His strength, and His peace. The reality of God's presence is a constant source of hope. When the road ahead seems unclear and the weight of the world feels unbearable, knowing that God walks with you can provide incredible comfort. It is easy to feel isolated or abandoned during difficult times, But when you choose to walk with God, you can rest in the promise that He will never leave you nor forsake you. His presence is a constant, a steady anchor in the storm, reminding you that no matter what happens, you are never alone. Even in the darkest moments, God's light shines through, guiding you, strengthening you, and reminding you that you are His beloved child. Walking with God also means that you are being led by His perfect wisdom. While your understanding may be limited, God sees the whole picture. He knows what lies ahead, and He knows what you need before you even ask. When you walk with Him, you submit to His guidance, trusting that His plan is always better than anything you could imagine. His wisdom, found in His Word and through His Spirit, helps you navigate life's complexities with clarity and purpose. It helps you make decisions that align with His will, even when the world around you is full of noise and distractions. And in those times when you feel most alone, when others may not understand or support you, remember that God is walking with you. His presence in your life is a reminder that you are never truly isolated. You are surrounded by His love and care, and He walks with you through every valley and every mountaintop, strengthening your faith and deepening your relationship with Him. Walking with God leads to a life that is deeply fulfilling and rooted in eternal truths, rather than the fleeting approval or success that the world offers. The world encourages you to measure success by outward achievements, by how others perceive you, or by accumulating wealth and possessions. These things may bring momentary satisfaction, but they cannot provide the lasting fulfillment that comes from living in alignment with God's will. When you walk with God, your perspective shifts. You no longer chase after things that are temporary, but you begin to pursue a life that is filled with eternal significance. The approval of the world becomes less important as you seek the approval of the one who knows your heart, who has called you to a higher purpose. Walking with God leads to a fulfillment that is far deeper than anything the world can offer. As you grow in your relationship with God, you begin to understand that your true purpose is not found in the material things of this world, but in serving Him and living according to His plans. Your life takes on new meaning as you realize that you are created for a purpose much greater than self-centered goals. Every action, every decision, and every relationship begins to reflect this higher purpose. You live not for yourself, but for Him, and in doing so, you find a joy and peace that can never be shaken by the changing circumstances around you. Moreover, walking with God leads to a peace that surpasses all understanding. When you are anchored in Him, you are no longer swayed by the opinions or judgments of others. The world's standards of success or failure lose their hold on you because you know that you are accepted by God and His love is your identity is no longer defined by what you accomplish or how others view you, but by the fact that you are a beloved child of God, created in His image and called to a life of eternal purpose. This understanding gives you the confidence to face challenges without fear, knowing that your worth is secure in God, not in the temporary accolades of the world. In walking with God, you also discover that true success is measured by how faithfully you follow Him, how much you grow in love, patience, kindness, and humility, and how you live to glorify Him. Your life becomes a testament to His goodness and faithfulness. The peace and purpose you find in walking with God transform you from the inside out, creating a life that is both fulfilling and lasting. Walking with God every day is not just a spiritual practice, but a transformative journey that impacts every aspect of our lives. It is a call to live in constant communion with the Creator, to trust Him, and to allow Him to lead us. The decision to walk with God is not a one-time event, but a continual choice to seek His presence, follow His guidance, and rely on His strength. It's a choice that brings peace in the midst of chaos, purpose in the midst of confusion, and transformation from the inside out. Choosing to walk with God daily brings with it the assurance that we are not alone in this world. Life can be filled with uncertainties, struggles, and moments of doubt, but when we walk with God, we are reminded that His presence is constant. He is our refuge and our strength, ever present in times of trouble. No matter what challenges we face, we can take comfort in knowing that God is with us, guiding us through every trial and triumph. This assurance of His presence allows us to face life with courage, knowing that He will never leave us nor forsake us. As we walk with God, we also begin to see our lives through His eyes. We are no longer bound by the world's standards of success, achievement, or approval. Instead, we live with a deeper understanding of our purpose. A purpose that is rooted in loving God and serving others. Walking with God brings clarity to our lives and helps us to prioritize what truly matters. Love, kindness, humility, and faithfulness. The approval of others fades in significance when we understand that our true worth comes from being known and loved by God. The peace that accompanies walking with God transcends all external circumstances, providing a foundation that nothing in this world can shake. This journey also leads to deep personal transformation. As we spend time with God in prayer, study His Word, and listen to His voice, we are gradually conformed to the image of Christ. Our hearts, minds, and actions are shaped by His love and grace. We begin to reflect His character, displaying the fruits of the Spirit in our everyday lives. The transformation that occurs through walking with God is not just a superficial change, but a deep internal work that makes us more like Him. We become more patient, more loving, more forgiving, and more humble as we grow in our relationship with God. Furthermore, walking with God leads to a life of eternal significance. The world offers many distractions, promising fulfillment in temporary things. But when we walk with God, we find true fulfillment in living according to His will. Our lives take on a greater purpose as we recognize that we are part of something far greater than ourselves, the eternal kingdom of God. This perspective changes the way we approach our work, our relationships, and our personal struggles. We begin to live with an eternal mindset, understanding that the choices we make today have lasting implications. In conclusion, walking with God every day is a journey of trust, transformation, and eternal fulfillment. It's about choosing to make Him the center of your life, trusting in His guidance, and allowing His presence to shape you. It's a journey that brings peace, purpose, and a deep, lasting relationship with the Creator. And when you walk with God, you are never alone, and you're always headed toward a life of greater meaning and eternal significance. So choose to walk with Him every day and experience the joy, peace, and fulfillment that only He can provide.